There are more options in the mechanical keyboard space now than ever. This year, the mechanical keyboard hobby just blew up a ton due to a lot of different reasons. You can get 60% with arrows, without arrows, with volume knobs, without volume knobs. What's all this hype around knobs? Well, in this video, we're gonna find out by looking at the Epomaker Ajazz K620T. It's a 60% keyboard and it's made for mobile devices and being on the go. And it's got a really nice knob here. Check out that knob. Alright, so I've been using this keyboard on my desk for quite a bit. Epomaker sent it to us as a review sample, and I've really been digging the aesthetic of it, the way it looks, the way it feels. Everything about it just screams premium, but it only costs $75. During the Kickstarter, it was $50. Now it's about $75, so it's a little bit more expensive now. Is it still worth it at its $75 price range? We're gonna get to that, but first we're gonna start with what's in the box. So in the box, you have the keyboard itself. Obviously, it's the star of the show, and we'll talk about it for 90% of this video. We also have a manual, and it tells you pretty much everything about the product, what the lights mean, what the switches do, and how to pair it via Bluetooth. Alongside that, we also have a plastic keycap puller. Now, these are going to scratch your keycaps. Trust me, I know, because sometimes I actually try and pull out keycaps with things like this when I'm lazy, when I don't want to go search for my wired keycap puller. Like this would be way better and doesn't scratch your keycaps. Don't use this. These are really good keycaps, and I would be sad if you scratched them. And it also comes with 3 extra fun colored keycaps for escape, enter, and the space bar. But I wouldn't recommend you use them because they're just not the best looking. They have die sub legends. They're low contrast and they just don't pop all that much. But maybe that's just me, maybe I'm just a boring person. We also have a USB-C cable. It's rubber, it has a Velcro cable holder, and it ends in a right angle. And the reason for that is that the USB-C port here is on the left side. So let's jump into build quality. We always start with the back. On the back here, it looks really different than a lot of keyboards that we've looked at before. There are 4 rubber feet, and they are round and cylindrical, and they feel pretty nice. The kickstands here aren't exactly kickstands. I guess they're more like raised feet, but they offer the keyboard a better angle rather than just sitting flat on your desk. I sort of like them. I know without the adjustability, some people might be like, that's not gonna do well. For something that's supposed to be portable, it probably would have been a better idea to have kick-up feet. That way you can fold it back in, throw it in your bag, and then just bring it elsewhere, and it would fit better in between notebooks, books, laptops, and things like that. Whereas this has protruding feet that stick out that would probably just fit all funnily in your bag and not right. Also, it's surprisingly heavy for something that's supposed to be mobile. It's almost 2 pounds, so it's pretty heavy to put in your backpack, along with like a 3-pound laptop or something like that too. And that's like 5 pounds of weight already. Alongside that, you got textbooks, you got notebooks, you got your wallet, your phone, accessories. Now your bag's sounding a little bit heavy. You have your slider toggle here on the left for cable, off, and Bluetooth. We see that pretty often nowadays. And then you also have a USB-C port on the left as well. The overall design of the case looks and feels really good. There's like a bottom rectangle, then you have a top rectangle on top. It looks great, and there's accents along the top and the side here as well that are glossier than the actual color of the case. The plastic is nice and smooth, sturdy, and doesn't feel like it'll get grimy or greasy over time either. And for the front, at the top left of the board, you'll see a volume knob that pretty much scrolls infinitely to the right or to the left. We also have this rubberized area to put your phone in or your tablet or whatever it is you want to pair with this board that could fit in here. At the top, you have these indicators for caps, Bluetooth, if it's charging, if it's low battery. So these are really helpful and they're pretty small, thin, sleek, not gonna stand out too much. The switches are mounted to an aluminum plate and that gives the board a lot of sturdiness. When you try to flex it, there's no movement at all. There may be some creaking in the keycaps, but other than that, this is a solid case. It feels really nice. It's a surprisingly really sturdy build for the price. Onto the knob. So the knob itself is made of plastic. It's a little bit glossy in the right lighting. It has a notch in it and that'll signify, well, it doesn't signify anything because it's just an infinite scroll. There's no end to it. There's no start to it. It's just a line there for whatever reason, because whether it's all the way on the right, you can still keep scrolling right. And it's really stable as well on the board. It's not wobbling much and it's not going anywhere. You can't pull it off or anything like that. It also has a press function where you can push it down and that functions as a mute unmute button. So the mute unmute is really cool. It does require some force to press it down, so I like to brace myself by putting some fingers underneath the board and then pressing down. So I really dig the knob. I've never had a knob before on any board and it's really cool to just turn volume up and volume down. Really functional and very convenient. Alongside that, it sort of looks nice. It looks really unique. All right, so on to the keycaps and the layout. The keycaps of this board is probably the selling factor for me. They are double shot PBT plastic and the inside of them resembles really high-end double shot ABS keycaps that I bought for about $70. So the whole set of keycaps cost more than this keyboard. And that's just like, oh, why did I spend that much money? But I did. But these are really nice. The legends are never going to fade away because it's a whole nother layer of plastic. It feels good, it looks good. The legends are really clean. The F and J is a little bit concave, but they also added those little divots if you want to feel it tactilely, but you don't like the concavity. So there's options for everyone. The only thing that bothers me though is that the font of backspace is a little bit bigger and thicker than the font of everything else. So the keycaps are cherry profile. They're really high quality, they're low, they feel good. And being PBT, they're going to take a longer time to shine. They're gonna last you a really long time. Seeing this quality of keycaps is really rare. Honestly, I've only seen double shot PBT keycaps in boards that are about 100 and over. So seeing this on a $75 keyboard or $50 during Kickstarter is really impressive. The arrow keys are on a secondary function with FN on the far bottom right of the board right here. And you can use the arrows with just one hand. So really easy, really convenient to use. The function row is on the number row if you hold FN. All these things are pretty common for a 60% board. There's also secondary media functions if you hold FN, and Z, X, C, V, or B. Different functions are available there. There is RGB, so if you like shine through on your keyboard, then this isn't the board for you unless you want to buy replacement keycaps and then put them on yourself. But why waste such good keycaps if you're just gonna replace it with another set? So the layout isn't too bad. There's no home, end, insert, page up, or page down, but seeing as it's for use with a tablet and you'll primarily be typing, and if you want to do any of those things, you can reach over and do some scrolling action here, then you don't really need any of those buttons. So the keycaps are next to perfect, the legends are clean, the font is good. The only problem is that backspace just looks really off compared to the rest of the board. So the switches. This keyboard is available with two types of switches. Initially I thought they were just Ajazz switches, but they actually are First Blood switches, which is made by Ajazz, I think. I don't know, it's just being like swapped like they're the same thing. At least that's what I see on other forums, reviews, things like that as well. So there's two options here. You have the pink, which is the linear, and the blue, which is the clicky. Unfortunately, there's no tactile option. The linears here feel a lot like Gateron yellows. They're heavier than Cherry MX reds. They have a bottom out force of about 60 grams. The blues have a bottom out force of about 55 grams. I haven't heard the blues or have any opinion on how their click is, how their tactility is, but the linears feel really good. You know, the mechanical keyboard community is always raving about how budget friendly and great Gateron yellows are. Well, these First Blood pinks feel very similar to that. They're smooth, and the additional force just lets you really feel the bounce back when you're typing, and you're less likely to make typos. At least that's how I feel about them. They have minimal spring ping while typing, and I do really enjoy the heavier feel. They have a nice deep bottom out sound combined with this case style and these keycaps. We'll do a full sound test at the end, of course, and you can jump there right now if you want to. The timestamps are all in the description. Okay, the stabilizers, they are white plate mounted Cherry style stabilizers. This keyboard is not hot swap, so I can't exactly take them out for you to see. They are not pre-lubed from the factory, but they feel as if they are. Alongside that, they're pretty tight in the plate except for one, and that is the right stabilizer stem of the left shift. And that's the only one that wobbles just a little bit, but all the other ones are super tight on the plate, and that causes them to have no rattle and feel really nice. The spacebar sounds really good on the left side, but once you get to the middle and then the right, you start hearing this rattle and additional sound. That's just not the best. Depending on whether you use space with your right thumb or left thumb, this can be an issue. Here's a quick preview on these stabilizers. So they sound really good. As you can hear, only the right side of the spacebar has a little bit of extra movement sounds there. The left side sounds clean. As for Bluetooth, it's Bluetooth 3.0. It's not the updated 5.0, but for a keyboard that's for use with an iPad or phone or tablet, it functions just fine. It'll connect well. It can connect up to 3 devices. To connect, you're gonna hold FN and Q, W, or E, so that's also how you switch between different devices as well. But you have to make sure that the switch is put on Bluetooth. It's compatible with iOS, Windows, and Android, so any Android tablet or iPad or things like that will work. Additionally, you can just pair it to your PC or Mac and use it like that too. The backlight does turn off after 10 minutes, and then after 30 minutes of non-use, the keyboard will go into a deep sleep. But to turn it back on, all you have to do is press a key and then it'll reconnect, and then you can resume typing again. It's got a 4400 milliampere battery, and that's gonna last a really long time. They say with the backlight on, your keyboard's gonna last around 50 hours, and then if your backlight is off, it's going to last around 8,800 hours, which is about 35 days. So that's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Obviously, I haven't used a keyboard for 35 days. Charging from 0% to 100% takes about 5 hours, and it's gonna take a while. If it's drained all the way, it'll take a while to turn it on and use it again, even while it's charging. So there are a bunch of RGB effects, and they look really good. Because of the light colored back plate here, you'll see the RGB bounce off, but the keycaps aren't shine through, so you're not gonna see any of that pizzazz. But we're gonna cycle through the effects right now. You change the effects using FN and backslash and just cycle through like that. There's a ton of different effects, but one downside here is that there is no white static backlight. The only static color is a bluish, tealish color, and other than that, that's the only static effect available. You can cycle through the different brightness levels via FN and left bracket. There are 6 different brightness levels from off to the brightest. And then you can also cycle through the speed of the effect through FN and right bracket. There are 6 effects of speeds available there. So what's the verdict on a board like this? As we've said before, it's about $75 and it was $50 in Kickstarter. During Kickstarter, if I was reviewing this keyboard back then, I would say it's a definitely go get it kind of board. It's super nice, super affordable, and 50 bucks, I mean, that's a steal for what you're getting here. But at 75, there's a lot of competition around at this price range. It's really competitive, especially with Keychron being at this price point and offering hot swap ability. But this board was created with the intention of pairing with tablets and phones. So obviously we have to look at the other boards that are available for that purpose, such as the Surface Go type cover or the smart cover for iPad, and golly, those are really expensive. If you're talking about just buying another Keychron board to pair with your tablet or phone, that's a different story altogether. So at $75, it is still a really good buy. The keycaps are definitely worth it. The keycaps are the real selling point here. They're double shot, they're thick, they're PBT, they're not gonna shine. You can just take them off and place it on another board and that's worth it already. But not only that, it has a volume knob and it's got Bluetooth. Sure, even if you're not using it with mobile devices, you know what? You can use it as a pen holder, pencil holder. That's what I've been doing. And it functions fine for that reason as well. Or you can use it as a post-it holder. There's so many other things that can work for, not just holding your tablet or your phone. So even if the Bluetooth isn't the best, this board really makes up for it with all of the features that it offers you. It's a great build, it feels really good. The switches are nice, no spring ping, and the heavier feel is awesome as well. For this price, if you're looking for something that is 60%, has a volume knob, which is really rare, I would go for it. If you want more information, I'll link to the product down below on the Epomaker page and on Amazon as well. It is a little bit more expensive on Amazon, but if you have Prime shipping and all that, you know, you go do that. And then I'll link to the Kickstarter page because there's a lot of cool images on there that you might be interested, along with like what's on the secondary layer and how to connect. And if you forgot everything I said, then you know, you can always look back at that. But I really like it, and I hope this video helped you out if you're thinking about getting this board. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!